This is Amiibo Doctor podcast number 20. I actually already recorded the 20th podcast, I think last Thursday. It was before I made the announcement that the channel was ending in a couple of weeks. But then Min Min got announced. I was like, what the hell, we'll scrap that one. That one was mostly talking about what it takes to become successful, and I know that nobody really wants to hear that from me. At least until they want to become successful themselves. So Min Min, oh my god. So I've actually already done a lot of content on Min Min. It's been a couple of months. But I have indeed done Min Min content. I recommend, even before listening to this, that you go back and watch our Min Min Amiibo analysis. Obviously that Min Min is not the final product. You know how these things go. Anyway, so Min Min. Okay, so first we won't talk about the what's the word? Competitive abilityness. We won't talk about it in competitive Amiibo yet. We're just going to talk about Amiibo as a whole. So it's really weird that they only did this one character. Kind of weird. I was asked on stream the other day, and I thought it was going to be 3, but minimum of 2. In fact, actually, let me pull up Smash Wiki here. I want to say, when was the last time we had an Amiibo wave that consisted of one Amiibo? We'll scroll to the bottom and move our way up. Oh, that's funny. They already updated the Amiibo page for Min Min. Yeah, wave 8. In 2016, it was Lucas. So that's been like 5 years. This is really weird. Personally, and I wrote about this on the announcement post at AmiiboDoctor.com, and if you're not reading AmiiboDoctor.com, get your life together. My theory on why that's the case is twofold. So, obviously COVID, that's a hard one to figure out. But also, Nintendo, according to some CPSIA filings I found, I think a year ago, or maybe 2 years, I think it was about a year ago, Nintendo manufactures Amiibo in Hong Kong. Now, those of you who don't know, Hong Kong is like really tiny. It's an island country. For the last 50 years, it's been territory of Britain, but partially owned by the Chinese. And the Chinese government is looking to basically crush Hong Kong's freedom of commerce, freedom of speech, etc. For all intents and purposes, the Americans should consider Hong Kong now part of China instead of an independent state. This produces a lot of problems for Nintendo. There's tons and tons and tons of high-tech manufacturing. Will you stop? You hear that airplane? Actually, you might not be able to. It's flying directly overhead, which happens fairly often around here. I don't know why. I don't live near any airports or any Air Force bases. There's just tons of planes that fly right over here. Like, I'm literally 50 miles from the nearest airport. Makes it very hard to travel. Yeah, so, like, Hong Kong, there's been a lot of political unrest there. COVID hasn't helped. The Chinese government really hasn't helped because, fuck the communists. Somebody complained once. I was sent a screenshot of this. Somebody complaining in another Discord server. And they were complaining about how I talk about communists and, like, how I hate commies. I'm like, dude, you fucking sympathizer. Like, fuck you. Anyway. No, so, like, I think we would have gotten probably Steve as well, if not for COVID, and we probably would have gotten, I want to say we would have gotten Joker and Hero last summer, Terry Banjo Byleth, last fall, or last winter probably, and then Min Min maybe March, instead of in 2022, and probably Min Min and Steve, right? But that's okay. That's okay. Actually, you're probably just listening to this, but I'm going to go ahead, if you're watching this as well, I'm going to go ahead and expand this a little bit. There's a couple of high-res images available at AmiiboDoctor.com, but if you just look at this, look at those stubby arms. You seeing that? That's stubby. It's kind of funny how they did that, because obviously you can't make it all noodly and stuff for the Amiibo figure. But no, it's very weird that they only have the one. I don't think what Nintendo's probably going to do for a lot of their high tech production, they're probably going to move it either to Foxconn or they're going to move it back home to Japan to avoid tariffs and such. And I don't think that'll affect Amiibo. I think they'll wait for that because this Hong Kong situation has erupted too quickly for them to be able to adapt. You know, because contracts still have to be carried out to term and stuff like that. But you know, that's business for you. So no, as far as the Amiibo goes, so the thing that people keep saying is, oh, it's going to counter Incineroar. It's going to counter Incineroar, and I would love if that was the case. I really would like it if Incineroar were not banned. But that's in a theoretical universe where Alolan Whip doesn't exist. Okay? So, like, as long as he has Alolan Whip, and there's not, like, some gigantic-ass AI nerf to Alolan Whip, he's going to be banned. Min Min's not going to change that. Sorry, I'm popping my toes as I talk. I squatted 275 yesterday for a 1 rep max. I can probably go to 300, honestly, on a 1 rep. But my toes are very not appreciating me right now. Yeah, no, I don't think Min Min's going to do that. I don't think she is. I think Min Min is going to be accidentally inconsistent. The thing about Min Min, and Kangoni, Lunagrade, or he switched his name up recently, so if you hear someone refer to Lunagrade, that's Kangoni. Luna Buna? I don't know. I'm trying to think of Moon Benchmark. That's what I always called him now. Moon Benchmark, Lunagrade. Okay, sorry, I'm done talking about Kang. So anyway, so he was doing some modding with the Min Min amiibo a while back, and he ran it up against Incineroar. Just typical Alolan Whip spam Incineroar, right? What he found was they go about 50-50, actually. If Incineroar can get in close, Min Min is dead. If Min Min keeps him at bay, Min Min wins. Easy. There was like a lot of variance between matches, and it all depended on if Incineroar was able to get in close. The problem is respawn invincibility. Even if you just killed Incineroar, he's got respawn invincibility, so he can get in close without you being able to do much. So I think what's going to happen, Min Min is going to be high tier, I think, unless Nintendo seriously screws up the amiibo, which they can do. I think they could. I wrote a post, again, amiibodoctor.com, about why Nintendo patches amiibo AI. It's actually not what you think. And, you know, it's actually got a reasonable amount of evidence, in my opinion. But basically, I think Nintendo is trying to put real effort into amiibo now because they realize that people buy them. I know it sounds silly, and the post makes a lot more sense as to why people buy them, etc. But, basically, I think Nintendo's going to put effort into Min Min to get... Are you shitting me right now? Even though I get planes all the time, I don't ever get 2 of them in the same hour. It's annoying. Ouch. Ah, my nose. Anyway. No, I don't know what to make of Min Min. In general. The Japanese banned Min Min, actually. As they put it, Min Min does not play Smash. Which is about the right way to put it. Min Min plays ARMS. Min Min does not play Smash. You know? So, you know... I don't know if Min Min will be ban-worthy. The nice thing is... Okay, so one of the tremendous difficulties, but also tremendous boons of competitive amiibo is that, okay, this character may be the best damn character in the game, and maybe they're absolute 20xx for human play. But they're not for amiibo, right? So, like, take... who's the best in the game right now? I think it's Pikachu? Is that what most people agree on is the best in the game is Pikachu? I've heard a lot of quote-unquote bests in the game. Chrom, Pichu, Joker, whatever. But I think right now people say it's Pikachu. No, like, look at Pikachu. the Pikachu amiibo can barely play Pikachu, right? Well, you look at Min Min. Okay, it's easy to imagine like a theoretical frame perfect walling off strategy that Min Min amiibo can easily learn, and then it's just unbeatable, right? But the truth is, it's an amiibo. It's not going to play perfectly. It never plays perfectly. There will always be issues with the amiibo, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe it'll be really good because, you know, it is really hard to beat the gigantic dragon fist of death. Fair enough. But like, as we learned in the video that I recommended earlier, excuse me. As we learned in that video, she doesn't appear to have much rhyme or reason when she switches. So she'll only be on megawatt like 1/3 of the time, probably. Right? So I'm thinking like, okay, she'll be good. Don't get me wrong, she'll be good. But she might just be anti-meta in some ways. I think at best she'll go 50-50 with some of the heavyweights. Maybe even better than that, maybe even 60-40, 70-30 with some of the really bad heavyweights, especially horizontal counters, okay? So competitive amiibo has always been a very horizontal game. Very horizontal game. There's not been a lot of verticality to it, okay? Amiibo do not juggle as well as they wall, you know what I'm saying? So when you get, examples including, I've done posts on this already, but examples including Incineroar's Alolan Whip, Mii missiles, and forward smash as well. Bowser forward smash. Edge guarding is designed to be horizontal, not vertical, right? Not that many amiibo can juggle, and they really can't juggle well, you know? So, it's a horizontal meta. Min Min is the most horizontal character you can possibly fucking imagine, alright? But, I think teaching amiibo to jump kind of defeats that. Take a character like Meta Knight, for example. Okay, Meta Knight can stay over Min Min's fists all day long. It's not a problem for him. He can just get through them with down B, you know. Do Drill Rush, that's gone. You take Pichu with Thunder Jolt. There goes Min Min. You know, a character like Mii Gunner with missiles. Mii Gunner, I don't think Mii Gunner can throw out the missiles faster than Min Min, because their rhythms are different. But I think on a I'd have to test it, but I think on a per second use, I think Mii Gunner can throw out missiles faster than Min Min can throw out hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be difficult. I don't think it'll be ban worthy. I do think Min Min is going to seriously punish horizontal recoveries. I'm incredibly curious to see how she ranks against Incineroar and Bowser on that regard. And Terry, especially Terry. By the way, Bowser is S tier, you fucking idiots. But no, like, I hate that argument. Oh, well, she's just S tier. Hasn't won anything recently. He's won like 3 tournaments in the last week. He just hasn't won anything at all. Like 3 first places for Bowser. Although Terry does present a large threat for Bowser, but like, we kind of already know that Terry is probably the best legal or ban worthy. So better than K-Roll, that's for sure. Anyway. So no, I don't... Min Min is going to be... She's going to occupy an incredibly unusual space in the meta, because there's really not been any counter for sword fighters. Okay? The counter for sword fighters... Honestly? Is that 3? You probably can't hear that one either, but that's 3 planes. Are we under attack or something? Like, what the hell? Let me see this one. Hold on. Okay, that one was a commercial plane. The other 2 were military planes. Dude, watch. This would be the morning when, like, the terrorists hit something. You know? Anyway. I guess I can't monetize that video. I said the word terrorist. I need to clean up my room. God damn. Yeah, so... No, but, like, I don't know. I don't think Min Min is going to be that... Okay, sword fighters, right. So the thing about sword fighters, the only thing holding back sword fighters is their bad recoveries. Like, that's honestly it. Okay? Let me pull up the Amiibo tier list for a sec. Amiibodoctor.com/tier list, bitches. That's bitch with a Z, by the way. Let me get my slow ass phone. This phone is like a month old, and it's already slower than my phone that was 2 years old. Somebody's like, oh, what that's what you get for buying Android. I'm like, dude, you have to buy a new phone every year just so you don't look pathetic. Screw you. Okay. Yeah, so who are the sorties in A? Well, you've got Byleth, right? But I'm counting Byleth as a sortie. Okay. You got Byleth and Hero. Okay. I know technically Byleth doesn't use a sword. No, but Byleth has very long-reaching melee weapon attacks that cover wide swaths, and she's from Fire Emblem. That's a sword fighter. Even with the tipper mechanic on the forward smashes, come on. But no, you got Byleth and Hero with great, I mean, truly incredible recoveries. Just absolutely stellar recoveries. And then in what B plus tier, you've got Me Sword Fighter with a not great recovery. Chrom, Shulk, Ike, not great recoveries. Especially Chrom and Ike. Then in B tier, you've got Cloud, Lucina, Corrin, Roy, Robin. They don't have that great of recoveries for Amiibo, right? And by great, so one of the things that defines a great recovery in Amiibo, because people would see, oh well, this is a great recovery in human play. Maybe what defines a great recovery in Amiibo is how far out horizontally and below the ledge can you hit the ledge. Okay. You don't have to worry about getting gimped that much in Amiibo. You have to worry about getting two-framed. Actually, that's a bigger issue. You don't have to worry that much about getting gimped. Okay? So it's just from below the ledge or how far out horizontally can you hit the ledge, right? Byleth has one of the best... Byleth has a tether recovery. It's an amazing tether recovery, especially for an Amiibo, because Amiibo are pixel perfect on that shit, okay? Hero, incredible recovery. He's got his up B, which fully charged goes just through the freaking roof. He's got zoom, Hero's recovery is incredible, right? But you get something like Chrom, Shulk, Ike. That's much less horizontal and much more vertical, right? So they're missing the horizontal aspect, but they have the ledge, right? So basically, the success of a sword fighter depends on recovery, okay? Sorties themselves actually do really well. I mean, and we can tell because the sorties with good recoveries are top of A tier right now. The sorties with decent recoveries that have ledge but not horizontal are B plus tier. The sorties that have neither, like who was I reading off? There's Roy, right? The sorties that have neither, Lucina, Corrin, Roy, that don't really have that horizontal or vertical over recovery are in B tier, right? Sorties are actually really good, and they are a threat in the meta because they have so much range on all of their melee attacks. Well, guess what? Min Min beats that. Kinda. Min Min beats that from a distance, I think Min Min is going to be proof. I've been saying this for a while. It's very hard to quantify, so I haven't been staking my ego on it or anything. Okay, but I think Min Min is going to be proof that the play style of an Amiibo is by far the most important factor. Doesn't really matter that much on move usage. It's the play style. You know what I'm saying? The lower tier your Amiibo gets, the more important its play style. Because think of it like this. Okay, can you beat an Amiibo playing as Bowser? Of course you can. It's fucking Bowser. Can you do it playing as Pichu? Yes. So if you can beat it as Pichu, okay, why can't an Amiibo? Why can't a Pichu Amiibo beat another Amiibo? Well, its playstyle isn't like yours. Whatever playstyle you use to beat it and win. So it's an issue of playstyle, isn't it? Not really move usage necessarily. It's just playstyle. It's movement specifically. Playstyle is the catch-all word that I'm using. I think movement is the most important piece of playstyle. So that I don't know. I think movement is going to be one thing that really defines different Amiibo. Min Min, if Min Min stays legal though, Min Min is absolutely going to be great Amiibo, probably A or A plus. But also, Min Min is going to make it necessary and required to jump. Okay? I'm serious. Mii Gunner kind of did that, and then Nintendo basically, shot missile spam in the back of the head. Made that a crappy strategy, so now it's F smash spam. But like with Min Min, no, this is Mii Gunner 2.0. Missile spam Mii Gunner 2.0, probably. Bigger weaknesses, because Mii Gunner can actually defend itself at close range. Min Min really can't. But like, I don't know, man. I'm telling you, man, like this character is going to be fucking bizarre in the Amiibo meta. Nuts. Totally nuts. The nice thing is, so I will say I don't think the Amiibo meta will ever fully hit its peak until counterpicks become a thing, okay? Or especially real-time counterpicks. But I will say, if they do, expect the matchups between characters to be a much more important thing, particularly the matchups against Min Min. Okay? The nice thing about tournament brackets right now is that you don't have to worry that much about high tiers. People want to win with low tiers, so they don't only send Byleth and Hero. They don't only send high tiers. Like, honestly, I have... If somebody, like, places 5th with, like, a mid-tier, I have a lot more respect for that than somebody who wins with, like, Ridley or DDD. It takes a lot more skill and training, because Ridley and DDD are going to win. And there's no shame in entering that, but if you're like, what are our top 4 in the meta right now? Not including bans. I'm assuming Bowser is banned because this tier list is incorrect. Yeah, if you submit like a Terry, Mii Gunner, King DDD, and Ridley to a tournament, you're like, oh guys, I'm the best Amiibo trainer ever. I'm like, shut the fuck up. But if you like place 5th, if you got that guy who took top 4 with all 4 of his Amiibo, but then you've got like, somebody who took 5th with like me Sword Fighter or Kirby, I'm like, damn son, that's impressive, right? I think what's going to happen is that, fortunately, thanks to Amiibo tournament brackets, okay, you don't have to worry about the threat of any other Amiibo at any other time, because in real-time counterpicks is going to be a lot more about high tiers in their matchups, okay? In brackets, we're going to be a bit preserved, but you are still going to have to worry about Min Min. I really do think that. I really do think Min Min is going to be a serious threat in the meta for specific archetype. First of all, Little Mac is done. Little Mac is gone. Power Thrust Me Sword Fighter is also gone. Say goodbye to him. Any musket? Oh yeah, musket method, dude. Musket method is dead. If Min Min becomes prevalent, okay. So well, this is one of the issues. When I say prevalent, okay, I'm talking about representation. Unfortunately, there is an element of how often do people actually submit this Amiibo in tournaments, okay? Because Mii Gunner, I do honestly believe that before Nintendo patched out missile spam, Mii Gunner was S tier. Literally ban-worthy, okay? Because all it would take is for somebody to just, repeatedly submit their perfect missile spam Mii Gunner that could defend itself at close range. That's the key right there. Because, it's easy to train a Mii Gunner to missile spam. It's hard to train one to defend itself at close range. And then they would just mop up every single tournament. Okay? So, if Min Min gets submitted a lot, and, wins a lot more, I think it'll be easier for people to see, oh, hey, this character's busted. But I will say, Min Min invalidates a lot, pretty much every grounded style. Right? Okay, I gotta check the news. We've got 4 planes. Is it, like, seriously, the last time we had this many planes was the Twin Towers. So, okay, I googled news. First thing that comes up was CNN. In Surfside, a grieving community comes together as hope fades for those trapped in building collapse. don't think that would affect me. Anyway, so yeah, Min Min invalidates sorties in some way. Not invalidates. That's too strong a term. Min Min puts up a serious fight against sword fighters, especially ones with tipper mechanics, as opposed to like Lucina and Chrom. She'll be one of the most ultimate gimpers you've ever seen. 2 of her 3 arm options can gimp. In addition, she always has Dragon Fist, which is going to be great for gimping. We saw in the video, if I remember correctly, from 6 months ago that I haven't gone back and watched. I'm serious. That she can use the extra laser thingy over the ledge as well. That's a big freaking deal. So, we're going to have to take the fight to the air, man. Honestly. Expect Mac and me, Sword Fighter, to down a couple of tiers. Who else? Who else is grounded? Mostly. Oh, I just dipped out of the Amiibo tier list. There we go. Da-da-da. It's going to take 10 minutes to load. Okay. Dr. Mario, he's gone. Ganondorf, probably, yeah. Captain Falcon. Depends on if Optimal Falcon is still Falcon Kick. I'd have to check on that. He seems pretty well gone. I'm curious to see how Pokemon Trainer is affected, because Charizard is very ground-based with Flare Bullets, but the other 2 aren't. Mii Gunner as well. Oh, yeah, Mii Gunner's going to get hit hard. Terry as well, yeah. So there's a couple of Amiibo specifically that are going to be hit hard by Min Min. Of course, it's always possible for Nintendo to screw up the AI and you know. But I think Nintendo has taken the philosophy of we want this shit to actually work so we can sell more toys as of late. So they're probably going to put in some extra work to make sure that Min Min functions reasonably well. So that's Min Min for you, in my opinion. We're going to give a little... I haven't got my hands on it yet. We'll have to do a full video on this later. But I will say, as far as Kazuya goes... I'm going to talk about Kazuya Amiibo now. I don't know how to feel about Kazuya. He hits like a truck, but he has 0 range, okay? He seems like Terry without go moves. Like, he has the 1 go move, but I could easily see... Okay, so here... We'll get a little bit of Amiibo technicality here. So you've got that rage thing, right? Where down B changes. That's basically Little Mac's KO punch under the hood. Okay? What'll happen is that the Amiibo will recognize that its hitboxes are different, but it's not going to prioritize it like for a kill move or anything like that. So I think what's going to happen is, yes, it will probably be able to use that fancy down special, whatever the hell it's called. You know, the one that's really strong that he spent like a minute showing off. Okay? But, double cheek, but, I don't think it's going to necessarily massively change how the Amiibo plays. It will bump him up at least a half tier. But I think, honestly, I think Nintendo is going to work their ass off to make sure that it can do all the combos that it can do. I think they realized that they fucked up Ryu and Ken. And that's why they worked so hard on Terry, the 3rd Shoto. And now that we have the 4th Shoto, well, I guess 5th Shoto, because Inkling is also a Shoto. Now that we have the 5th one, I think they're going to put an effort to make sure he can do all his combos, which is going to lead to a largely untrainable AI. Honestly, I don't think there's going to be that much room for behavior data in the Amiibo. Part of the reason I say it, so Amiibo are designed fairly straightforward, okay? At least on the actual chip itself. This slot is down special. This slot is up special. This slot is neutral special, right? This byte does that, this byte does that, this byte does that. They never change it. They didn't train it for Pokemon Trainer, okay? They didn't change it for anyone else. They don't have bytes for different combos. You know, it's not like Ryu. It's not like Byleth has a byte for down tilt up special combos. No, she has a byte for down tilt. Separately, she has a byte for up special. Okay, that's it. That's all. So, with Kazuya, it's going to largely be CPU controlled, with like movement kind of sort of being controlled by the Amiibo data, the Amiibo training, and attack preference to some degree being controlled by that. But I think for the most part, There's going to be a tremendous amount of built-in stuff, just like with Terry, and it's going to hit like a truck, but it's going to be easily countered by almost everything from sword fighters to min to projectiles to all of it. But Doc, what about that neutral B? What about the Rob laser thing? Well, good question. How effectively does Rob use his laser? I think what Nintendo will do is they'll literally copy paste the Rob AI for that laser onto Kazuya. Guess what? Rob does not use his laser that well. He'll use it, but he doesn't do it that well. And the problem is, the laser is actually an issue, because Kazuya needs the opponent to be up close to kill him. Unless he's gimping. He has no other ranged attacks. You know? So, I think Kazuya is going to have an easy time building up damage, but he's going to get so focused on this built-in combos and stuff that he's not going to be able to... What's the word? He's just not going to be able to get kills easily. He'll get kills, don't get me wrong. He'll be, at worst, a B+ tier, probably. He'll be the best of the Shotos. Except for Terry. That's right, because Terry's like fucking S tier. Okay. Doc, you silly head. But no, I think Nintendo is going to not allow much leeway on that one. So, that's just how it is, you know what I'm saying? They don't think it'd be like that, but it do. So, anyway. Well, part of me is like, oh, you should talk about the channel being done and channel ending. And the other part of me is like, nah. So, I don't think I will. I think I'm going to take a slow morning today. It's almost noon. Actually, it is almost noon, yeah. Before a fifth plane flies overhead, and then we have to all run to the bunker. God only knows when that'll happen. I am surprised that we never got nuked during the Cold War. I am surprised. I mean, we all knew that communism was going to fall. We just weren't sure how. You know? Central government, man, just doesn't fucking work. Central government works when it's decentralized, you know what I'm saying? That's why the American system worked so well for so long. I do think we're getting far too centralized in the federal government. That's not a good option. But, like, whatever. This is not a political podcast yet. One of these days, maybe. Alright, thank you for watching, and subscribe, bitches. Oh, I have to click stop recording. Why does it only do that sometimes? Where sometimes I hit space bar and it stops, and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. Let's try this. No, it still didn't work.